my birthday. Okay. Technically, it's not my birthday. I celebrated my birthday today, but my birthday was on Wednesday. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ash. If you're new here, hi. If you're coming back here, hi again. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click the subscribe button so you can be alerted to all my other bookish content when it comes out. So yeah, I celebrated my birthday today, and true to me, I got books for my birthday, and I'm going to show you the books that I got and talk about them a little bit, because why not? So the first two books I got are, I'm doing them together because they're in a series. It's The Poppy War and The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang, and I've been looking forward to reading these books so much. I'm not going to lie, I know very little about these books. I'm somewhat familiar with the conflict that they're based upon, but I don't know much about these books plot-wise. And the reason these books came onto my radar, we're going to take the glasses off because ring light. The reason these books came onto my radar was I saw a couple months ago that people were trashing the books, and then I saw a lot of people on book Twitter coming up and defending them and saying, your opinion in this matter is kind of not valid. And I went and looked at some of the reviews of the books, and so many of the reviews were trashing The Poppy War and The Dragon Republic for being too dark, having too much war, glorifying drug use. And I kind of just sat there baffled, because essentially what they were complaining about was the books almost being too true to the historical context in which they were written. And I said in a previous video when I talked about these books and how I wanted to read them, if you don't like a book because you don't jive with the author's writing style, you don't like the way the characters are written, okay, I understand that. But if you are saying I don't like a book because it's too accurate to the historical context in which it's supposed to exist in, no, I don't. That doesn't work. So, yeah, I have The Poppy War, and I will be starting this in November, and then following it with The Dragon Republic, because if I'm not mistaken, The Burning God, the last book in the series, comes out in either November or December, and I really want to be able to get that book soon. So that's those two. The third book I got is Ironheart by Nina Varela. I read Crier's War earlier this year. I got it in an Owl Crate box, and I thoroughly enjoyed that book. I loved Ayla. I loved Crier. And one of my favorite things about the book is that one of the themes that's woven through it is almost questioning what does it mean to be human? Like, what are we as human beings? The first book, Crier's War, follows Ayla, who is a human, and Crier, who is made. She belongs to this species called the Autome, pronunciation please, who are basically humanoids. They look like humans, and they've put themselves above human beings and rule over this kingdom. And I thoroughly enjoyed reading that book. I loved Ayla and Crier. Oh my gosh. Give me more of that, please. Please. Okay. And the last book I got the graphic novel A Thief Among the Trees, which is a prequel to an Ember in the Ashes series. It follows Helene, Elias, and Tavi as Fivers, their fifth year in Blackcliff Academy. I started reading the Ember in the Ashes series last year. Yeah, last year I read An Ember in the Ashes, and then I found out that there were two other books published, and that the fourth book wasn't coming out until this year. So I waited to read A Torch Against the Night and A Reaper at the Gates, because I didn't want to have that dry spell in between of not having that fourth book. And then they came out with a graphic novel prequel, and I am quite excited to read this. An Ember in the Ashes is one of my favorite series. I love Sabaa Tahir's writing, and I'm excited to see Elias and Helene's experiences as Fivers in picture form. And yes, it's a graphic novel, and graphic novels are reading. I don't know who needs to hear it, but this, I'm going to read this. Okay? I am going to read it. Graphic novels are reading. That's it. There's no arguing about it. Anyway, yeah, so this was the 4th book that I got for my birthday, and those were the 4 books I got for my birthday. This was just a really quick video that I wanted to do, doing a little bit of a mini haul. Most of these books are probably going to wind up on my November TBR, which is going to be a mess because if you watched my first video, if you watched my last video, you know that I am not done with Legendborn, and it is October 25th. It's October 25th, so there's 6 days left to the month, and I haven't finished my first book on my October TBR. So my goal is to finish Legendborn, and then I'm going to read the Pan's Labyrinth novelization because Pan's Labyrinth is one of my favorite movies, and I really want to see how they adapted it into novel form. So I'm going to read Pan's Labyrinth novelization after I finish reading Legendborn, and then I will try to construct a November TBR. But all of these books, just I might as well just say that this is my November TBR right now. We'll see. That's going to wrap it up for this video. When did this one fall? He was standing up at the beginning of the video. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to see you guys soon. We got lots of exciting content coming soon. Book tags, nano content. I'm gonna cry because it's almost November and nano. Anyway, give a like, give a subscribe if you feel so inclined, and I will see everybody in the next video. Goodbye.